the number of times she would tell us things that you and Leanne had done for her, little things that you had arranged for her. And in the beginning, the early stages of the dementia, I remember when she was coming to the house and she got lost. I don't know if you remember that. And you had to go out and get her. And
she didn't want to, she had anxiety.
Yes, and she couldn't find her way. And which was such a departure from the very independent person that we had experienced before that. And you had warned us in advance, look, there is something happening here, just so you know.
Yes.
But to watch the almost panic within you at that stage, but then witness how that ebbed and flowed and eventually changed. It was a lot of pressure. I wonder if you would be able to articulate, especially for people who are perhaps in the beginning stages, either with dementia or for those who are now stepping into that primary caregiver phase. What are some of the pressures that you faced, not just as the daughter that was here, but as the primary caregiver or mom, as Mama Gay called you? What did that look like? Because, I mean, let's be cognizant of the fact that you're also raising two boys, right? We're busy raising the kids. We're dealing with life. We're working. We're secret sunrising. We're facilitating. We're like on all these different levels. But I feel like that pressure of that diagnosis and managing that for you, for mom, for your nuclear family, just maybe speak to us a little bit about what kind of pressures you did face for those who are experiencing that at the moment.
I felt very responsible for checking up on her. So I started to become 10 steps ahead.
Right.
So I would sort meals out. If I was going away, which was quite a lot at one point, I was going to retreats to get trained. I was holding retreats. I would set up family calls. So you do morning, you do afternoon, you do evening, and then converse with each other. So there were many groups with different people that would look after in my absence. I would make sure that we spoke about it openly because I wanted my mom to know that it wasn't something that
she should be ashamed of.
She should be ashamed of. And also, I was there for it all, you know.
Sure.
And I think that was important for her, that she knew she could come to me. It's almost like, you know, when your kids leave home and they get into trouble and like who they're going to phone. I'd be like, Mom, if you're going through something that you're going to go into a panic attack or a depression, please reach out there. And then when you are, you know, aware. And obviously that became less and less because she became less aware. It was just, she became whatever was happening. But for me, it was setting up support for myself and for her.
Right.
So food was a big one. Company, you know, just phoning her and having a chat and just getting to listen in between the lines of she hesitated there or whatever. Like, I became very, very adept at reading between the lines and reading the body language and the hesitation, the tone of voice. And I could almost stop it before it started.
Right.
So when I could see that, you know, I'd come in on a Monday and say, well, you haven't eaten the food that was for the weekend. So what did you eat? Talk me through it. And I could see where there was a lack of self-care. Like, when last did you shower? Let's run you a nice hot bath. It's basically treating it as if you are taking in the information, but you're also dissecting that information to what is actually true, what is not true, and also where are we at in terms of mental wellness, emotional state. Because with the dementia, there is a loss of filter. And
I remember that.
Yes.
Yes, some things were falling out of your mouth.
Oh, absolutely. And getting annoyed that the the kids were getting attention and not her. And I'd be like, you do know that I'm raising children. So they need to have mommy's attention as well. So it was navigating what was real and what was to come. So I know I would tell people like what you'd say. I would say to you before we arrived, listen, she's going to repeat herself.
Yeah.
She's going to need us to not be too loud because it completely throws her if we're all talking at the same time.
Yeah.
And also when we go shopping, I would have to say to people, because I would let her talk the first time and then the second time, and then the people would start looking at me as if to say, like, what is actually going on here? And I'd be like, we're currently on a dementia journey. And then they would soften immediately. And they'd be like, oh, okay. And then they treat her with all the kindness. And I said it in front of her because I didn't want her to feel like I was talking behind her back. She didn't appreciate it at first.
But that's not dignified. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. But I needed her to not then be looked at like there's something wrong with you.
Yes.
Because as soon as people were in the picture, then they'd be like, okay, I'm going to answer this question. I'm going to tell you where I'm from. I'm going to tell you all these personal details that I wouldn't tell a stranger normally. Because now I realize that there's no filter.
Yeah.
So you're just going to go there. All right, let's go there.
Let's go there.
And people 99% of the time were absolutely so great.
Yeah.
And I think it really did help to just be real.
Yeah.
To actually talk into it. Like I would say it and Mom would say to me, I hate it when you tell me I've got dementia. And I'm like, Mom, I need to remind you because otherwise you're going to think you're cray-cray.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what is this happening? You have dementia. Oh. And it wasn't great that was the truth, but at the same time, it helped a lot of the time. So she'd be like, oh yeah, okay, yes, okay. Because she would forget.
Yes.
And, you know, especially when towards the end she broke her femur and she was in hospital in high care. And even though the nurses know that she has dementia, they're not trained in dementia care. They're trained in ICU care. So they would know that they needed to watch her for dementia, but they didn't know how to actually remind her constantly, you're in a hospital.
Yes.
You've had an operation and the physio is trying to help you heal, not hurt you.
Yes, because she would have thought, because she was
stay away from me. You're hurting me. Remind her.
Yeah,
she's had an operation. She's had a fall.
Yeah.
Literally, I would be visiting. I'd be there for an hour because that was as long as I was allowed to be there for.
Yeah.
And in that hour, I would have repeated that sentence 50 times.
Yeah.
And every single time it would be news.
Yeah.
So I think I always just was very upfront about the fact that this is where we were at, because it doesn't help to sugarcoat something that actually helps to remember.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And that's literally how, that's literally how we do things. Like I don't hide Ant's illness at all. I don't feel it does him any good.
No, because then it becomes shameful.
He used to, because he didn't want people to see him as less than.
Yeah.
But the truth is, his body is failing. So people are looking at him going, hey, like, what happened to you? And he's now started saying, actually, I have MS. You know, it's a progressive disease and this is how it works.
Yeah.
So I think in honoring your mom in that way was incredibly dignified for her. And giving her that dignity was probably one of the greatest gifts, I think, for her and for you. Gosh, she was such a vibrant woman. Like, and I'm just thinking back over the years, watching her disappear in front of you. I mean, you've spoken about that being heartbreaking and having that preemptive grief. Was there that sensation of, I need to hold on, I need to grab hold of this, I need to hold on to what this is? Like, was there that feeling of, please let this last just a little bit longer?
Yeah. There were moments, there were celebrations, Mother's Day, Easter, Christmas, anniversaries, where she would be there and I would literally be crying, but not obviously, where I would literally have to walk out the room and just have a moment, because I knew in real time that this was now. And it's sometimes, the strongest person is strong because they have to be. And when you know in the moment that this is temporary, it's quite a stark contrast, because you're enjoying the moment, but you also are very aware at the same time that this moment will never happen again. And so, I remember when she actually did pass and we had Christmas. So she was into August, we had Christmas, and someone said to me, it must be so tough for you because this is your first Christmas without your mom. And I said, no, last Christmas was way worse because I was here and she was down the road and she couldn't be here. That was worse for me because she would want to be there. Now, at least, she's with us in our memories, in our heart cells, in our energetic field. So I think I just, towards the end, had such almost like a third person perspective where you're in it and you know that it's now and it's not. Tomorrow it could be completely different. And it was in so many, there were so many times where the dementia shifts where you realize in the moment, I remember on the Friday, I did a dance because I do dementia dances for Sarah Valley, and I had my mom and she was up and she was cheeky and she was having the time of her life. And on the Monday, she'd broken her femur, and they said, you need to be prepared because when there is an injury with dementia and a surgery and anesthetic and a change of scenery, and people,
really hard.
They regress so radically that it's really like chalk and cheese, and they couldn't have been more on the money. So that for me, it was like knowing in real time, because firstly I'm prepared because I'm in the home and they're speaking to me about this is where we're at now and this is what you can expect. And then it's textbook. It's literally what they're saying happens. And there were so many of those chapters. And I think for me, the last year for her in that bed was absolutely, I was devastated because there were days where I would, because I wanted to visit her every day.
Yeah.
But some days I knew that it was no good for her because when she saw me, she would remember. It was like the familiar face would make her aware of herself. And it was almost like I made her regress even more just by being there.
Yeah.
And then there were days that I'd drive past and my little one, Blaze, would just say to me, Mom, do you have to visit your mom today? Because it makes you so sad. And it made him sad. And there'd be days where I'd be like, I just can't do it because it's sore for her, it's sore for you, it's sore for me. And the self-preservation would just be like, okay, just for today, I'm going to press pause and just hold her in her bubble, hold me in my bubble, him in his bubble. And it's okay to not be okay and to actually make the decision not to do the right thing. Because sometimes you just need some time for yourself to actually catch your breath and then, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. And I did that towards the end because it just became so, it's like I said in the group, I said, I'm not going to post because it's the same. If it gets worse, I'll let you know, but it's not going to get better.
No.
And when Auntie Pam, my mom's older sister, said to me, because she hadn't made, because I remember I sent Mama to PE because I was like, this is going to be the last time she's able to fly, to be able to be at all unmanaged.
Yes.
And she went, and it was hard. It was not easy, but it was so wonderful. She saw Pam, she saw her best friend Judy, and they had that time together. So when Auntie Pam got a hold of me and she said she has been moved by spirit to come, I said, Auntie Pam, book the next flight.
Yeah.
And then she was, because they all were so obeying of the rules, and I'm not a person that colors in the lines. I'm like, rules?
No. You, Karen? Really?
Yeah, no. Like, rule schmools. And I just said to them, I said, when she lands, she's coming straight to my mom. I just had this innate knowing. And she came and she held her sister, and literally that next morning she would have missed her by 1 hour if she had obeyed the rules. So I was like adamant. And it's just, I'd set up enough of an awareness to people that they knew that if they wanted to see her, it was in real time, because you are going to regret it if you don't act upon it.
You were amazing like that. Like, I remember you orchestrating various meetings so that people could see Mom for the last time as a group. And I remember when Caroline was out here, Anthony's sister Caroline, cousins, and Kitty and Caroline and Bev and I think Aunt went. They all went together.
Yes.
To go and see her. And I know that I think Kitty and Caroline and Bev visited again, but there was just the beautifully orchestrated, which again is another kind of pressure, reminding people like we're on the homeward stretch here. Like, if you're going to do something, do it now.
Yeah.
If you want to see her now.
Yeah.
And that in itself is not dramatic. It's not like being dramatic. It's being very cognizant and aware of the fact that the days are numbered.
Absolutely.
And you were so gracious in how you reached out to people and said, look, if you want to come. Because
Absolutely.
we don't know,
yeah,
but the days are numbered.
Yeah.
And I was so impressed by that, because I thought there's that feeling of wanting to hold her close and keep her to yourself. But then in true gay Karen Leanne fashion, releasing that and opening that, which is pretty much how your mother lived her life. Like, someone needs something, I will give them that.
Absolutely.
She literally would give the shirt off her back and the shoes off her feet.
Absolutely.
And even that she has handed down to you and Leanne, and it's been a theme of your family, just to graciously open and say, come into the circle, come in.
Yeah.
Like, I know that she would want you here. I know that you need to say goodbye.
Yes.
And understanding that there were so many people that loved and cared for your mom and for you guys, and giving them room to actually come in. And I mean, that in itself is a different kind of pressure.
Yeah. And also to allow people to see her in the state that she was in before she left.
So hard.
Because
so hard.
She would, I mean, I remember her saying to me, if I'm ever in a nappy, being fed through a straw and talking gobbledygook, you freaking pull the plug. And I'm like, well, it's easier said than done. But at the end of the day, Mum, that was your perception of having to be perceived in a certain way, where people needed to say goodbye because they loved you. And love is so deeper than surface. So when people reached out, because there were a few where they really felt that they wanted to say goodbye.
Yeah.
And then I would be like, of course, because that's their closure.
Yeah.
That's their honoring of the relationships that they had with my mom. And, it's been so interesting in that I've picked up her friendships. So there's a lady called Jenny who I now see, and she's also in a home, but not for dementia, for other things. And I then will see her and have a tea and we'll chat.
Beautiful.
And it's almost like through this journey, you get to see the rite of passage we all go through getting older.
Yeah.
And how your circle gets smaller because the people that you know are dying.
Yeah.
And then it's up to the next generation to honor what's important. And it almost feels in these connections that I still have, communication, little message here, photograph there, just keeping people looped, nothing strenuous, just in the flow of when it feels right.
Right.
It's keeping that love and that connection alive and that respect for what was important to someone else.
Which is so deeply rooted in all of you. It doesn't really surprise me at all, like that your compassion and grace and love of those that your mom loved extends well beyond the boundaries of friendship. It's a beautiful and deep appreciation and love for people. And it's one of the things about you that I think I've always loved is you've always been able to see beneath the surface of what someone is showing, seeing, like where other people couldn't see something, you could. And it's so interesting that you've picked up that mantle from your mom and you've carried it, because she would have done exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, what is life like now?
So you come and ask that question at a very interesting time. I thought that my ducks were in a row and they've just gone quack and gone in all different directions once again. But it's very interesting this time round, because this is maybe the fourth time in my life where everything has been. And the thing that I come back to is, out of everything that I've been through, I have got 100% success rate.
Yeah.
So even though I have got a 180 in many scenarios, I am just expecting a miracle, because I know who I am. I know what I bring. I know that I get up each day with good intentions, good energy, and I really do my best.
Yeah.
So I deserve good things.
Yes.
So now I'm looking at this current situation in the lens that what is coming is so much better
than what is
than where you are at, that you just need to accept, surrender, and allow it to flow towards you. So it's an easier practice in words than it is an actual, theory is easier than the actual practice of it. But I really do feel a sense of calm, where once before I used to be much more in a state of panic and anxiety. And it's like, okay, well, that will give you something to do in the present, but it's not going to give you anything tomorrow. So I'm actually in a place of reverence, knowing that everything that I have done, because let me just paint a little picture for you. So the house that I'm currently living in is an absolute magical cottage that really shouldn't have happened in the way that it did, because people do look at me and they're like, you're a little bit like of a unicorn. How did that actually happen? And when I go back 10 years to children that I was looking after at Sun Valley, where my eldest was at school as a SOS parent, because their parents weren't present, were lifted onto the land by me for a year. And that is when I first got introduced to the people that I now rent from. And it was through those little acts of just being in service of others and compassion of others, and just in the natural flow of life, and going, I would really hate to be away from my mom. So of course I'm going to bring you a birthday cake on your birthday and give you lifts and take you to the market and just be there because I can. And then why wouldn't I? But those little acts over the years have joined the dots to be living in the exact place that I am. Because when I told them, oh yes, I've met you 10 years ago, this was why, all of a sudden there is a deeper connection. It's not just someone coming. So that is how I got this place, was the joining of the dots of random acts of kindness over the years, and also just networking and knowing people, and always actually being very familiar with the space. So I know that whatever's coming is going to once again be the culmination of my efforts over the years. So I am in a space of surrender. And also a very big awareness of who it is that I am and what it is that I bring. And what it is that I deserve and I'm worthy of. And I'm finally able to really think that about myself. Like and it's not egotistical. It's nothing other than that is who you are and that is what you bring, and what is coming is going to be magnificent, because you're not going to go backwards.
No, I confirm that 100%.
And it's just change. Change is uncomfortable. It's supposed to be. It's your growth point.
But we've also watched how things have come together for you over the years. And we've also seen the amazing works that have happened in your life. So I have no doubt in my mind. And the thing is, the village of people who love and care for you is so strong, because you invited people into your journey and allowed them to journey with you, which is such an amazing thing to do. Because a lot of people are like, nope, it's my private, nope, I'm going to close off. I don't want anything to do. No. Whereas you've gone, come on in, take a look around. What do you want to be a part of? how can I help you here?
Yeah.
Which is incredibly generous of spirit, and that generosity of spirit returns sevenfold.
Absolutely.
And I have no doubt that your village will show up in droves to actually get you to where you need to be. Do you still feel mom around you?
Yes, 100%. I had such a hilarious dream. I was just telling Ant about it, where I was at a market and we were sitting, you know how you remember all the detail, but there were clothes in front of us, and she always, like me, more clothes, more. We love shopping. And she was wearing these boots, and she was, you know how she always complained about her short legs. And so she wasn't fully touching the ground. And she was like, look at my boots. And she was kind of doing playful feet. And then I picked up my boots and we were kind of doing like a dance with our boots. And I was aware in this moment that the moment that was happening was kind of like not borrowed time. It was bonus time. And I remember placing my hand on her shoulder, and she had like a bump on her shoulder here that I used to feel in life. It was there.
Yeah.
And I mean, in the dream, I was aware of the fact that I hadn't felt that in a long time. And it was almost like I was this happy, sad moment of just like be fully present in this because it's a bonus moment.
Yes.
And I remember saying to her, where are those boots? Like in a joking way, because I knew that I was going to be waking up and I wanted to know what those boots are. With their really cool boots. And we were having such a chuckle together. And I woke up in this lighthearted way of like, that memory is not a core memory because it didn't happen in life. It happened in a dream, but it also happened in a way that I was present with my mom in that moment, like 100%, to the fact that I could tell you that the feeling of just touching her, knowing that feeling, like, you know your people that you love, you know their bumps and their, so when you touch, it's them. And it was just the most beautiful thing, because I woke up and I was like, that was a bonus moment. And I was like, thank you, more of those, please. And there's like, when I'm going through thought processes that are taking me deep into my Pisces waters, there will be a laughing dove, and mom presents now as a laughing dove. And it's amazing where I can just go, okay, I hear you. And then the dove stops.
Thank you for that.
Yes. And when I went on a little road trip with my sister, and we were scattering mom's ashes all the way up the garden route to PE, where we're from and where we grew up.
Yeah.
Every single house that we visited, that we lived in as kids growing up, there was a dove every single time.
Amazing.
So yeah, she's around.
Amazing that she would show up. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
That she would show up in that way for you.
And she shows up in songs as well.
That's comforting.
That
is comforting.
Yeah.
Do you dwell on things that, looking at that journey, and I'm just thinking there are a lot of people out there who are trying to adjust to a diagnosis, trying to adjust to this new way of life. Maybe people who've had loved ones pass recently, and now the new normal is do you ever look back and think, oh gosh, I didn't really do that well? Or do you kind of feel like there's no place for regret here? I'm going to hang on to the goods.
I did my best in a diabolical situation, and there are so many.
I love that you say that. I love that you say that.
And I honestly did, because in the moment I remember going, can I look after my mom at home? Can I do it? Because I didn't want her to be in a home. She didn't want to be in a home. And I would be in my life and I'd be looking around and I'm like, there is no way that I would have been able to do it. And I remember there was a optician, because she had to have her cataracts done, and she had just been through the same thing. And actually, she was at university with Caroline. And she pulled me aside and she said, I'm going to tell you what I wish someone had told me at the beginning of my journey. She said, you cannot look after your mother at home. It will destroy you and your kids and her, because it is a a really torturous disease that takes away your loved one and you're left with a disease.
Yeah.
And she's like, leave it to the professionals
Yes.
because they know what they're doing.
Yes.
As much as your mom's going to resist, it's going to, and she said, especially if you are trying to work and look after kids and create a life for yourself.
You were wearing so many hats.
It's going to take away all of that. And actually what it leaves in the space is then resentment and anger and irritation and
bitterness. And
bitterness.
We don't want that.
So there were many times in the journey where I was like, could I be doing this differently? Could I? And I would answer a resoundingly no. There is no way I could be doing this.
So it was more that inner voice that you tapped into to realistically ask the question instead of going, I should do this because, it's family and I need to do this because, but rather kind of going, hang on, wait a minute. What is that still small voice saying?
And that was the voice I was asking myself, when she passes, which is going to happen, am I going to regret this decision?
Right.
And that was pretty much the basis of how I made decisions was, can I do this differently? No, I can't. We've got to the point where now it's time for her to not be living on her own. She has to go to a home.
Yeah.
It was now she can't be driving. It was literally really questioning my intention, my attempts at making the situation last for as long as it possibly could. It was like, okay, we're done here. We need to move on to the next part. So her being in a home, she absolutely didn't enjoy that. It was a beautiful home. The carers
tell us what home it was again.
It's Sarah Valley in Noordhoek. And it's almost like a home with community residents.
Yes.
And it isn't easy for anybody in that scenario. It's not easy for the carers because dementia is it can be quite verbally and physically. You're getting smacked as the carer, you're being sworn at. It's tough both ways because the people who are there don't want to have dementia, and then they're surrounded by people with dementia. And then the carers are dealing with people who are losing their minds. And so it is not an easy situation for anyone. But as far as homes go, it is a beautiful home with people who really care. And when I go and do the dementia dances every second week, it is absolutely the medicine that they need is the music and the shift in energy, seeing each other differently. And just for a moment, they're transported into a place of, oh, I know this. It's something that's familiar.
Yes.
And so as much as mom didn't want to be there, it was exactly where she needed to be. And she was very loved. And I mean, she would 1 minute be screaming and shouting, don't move me, don't touch me, da, da, da. And then she'd be like, oh, I love you. Thank you so much. I'm sorry that I swore at you. And because it was that dance between being sane and not being present. It's the brain.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful for the fact that she was just down the road and that I could visit at any time, and that I'm actually now able to continue going there. And what could be really hurtful, being in a space of where she used to be and she's no longer, I'm actually bringing joy and light. And there's one resident there who is my mom. She's the same height. She's got the same short white hair, and she's cheeky and she's mischievous and she's full of fun, and she's my dancing queen. She dances with me. Cool. So every time I go there, I'm presented with my mom. Yeah. And so it's funny how life works and how it unfolds and how it brings you riches, even from the ashes of your pain and heartbreak. There's always something to celebrate out of those times.
Karen, thank you. Thank you for just being so willing and so real and authentic. It's another things I like about you. What you see is what you get. And the wonderful thing about you is that you are continually committed to growing and learning and evolving and adapting and pivoting and changing. And it is the willingness of spirit that makes you so attractive to so many people. I want to close off by maybe just giving some advice to anyone who's really battling to manage this kind of grief, the grief journey, in whatever way that they're encountering it. What would you say to someone in your shoes who's walking that grief journey of dementia, Alzheimer's, those very difficult diagnoses? Just a few words.
Be kind to yourself. Allow yourself to feel. Give yourself a time frame to pull yourself out of that, because yes, it's important to feel, but it's so tricky not to get stuck in
that,
because then it becomes something that pulls you down further. So say today I'm not feeling great. I'm going to put on my pajamas and I'm going to milk this. I'm going to indulge the grief. I'm going to indulge the unfairness of it, the discomfort. And then tomorrow, wash your face, brush your teeth, put your clothes on, and continue. But always be gracious with yourself and your feelings, because it's okay to not be okay. And it's okay to be okay. Because also, you need to celebrate the things that are working out and not feel guilty about that. Just like you don't compare your grief with someone else's grief, you don't judge yourself for having moments of happiness. And to just choose the kind voice in your head and to know that there are so many people going through so many things. So when it gets overwhelming, reach out for help. Even if that person says all the wrong things. It helps you to feel supported, and it helps you to have a shift, because you can get in a loop. If you're hyper independent and looking after everything, it's good to just actually go, oh, I'm allowed to be vulnerable.
You know, my mom often used to say, when we were growing up and we were going through things, she would say to us, you're allowed half an hour of self-pity a day. And once you're done, let it go. And I used to go to her sometimes and say, can I have a whole day? Can I rack it up over a couple of weeks and then just have a full day? And she would do what you need to do. Do what you need to do.
And it's healthy to be both the survivor and sometimes the victim. Because they both have their place. And the more that you try to be everything to everybody, you are denying the part of you that's screaming out for a little bit of vulnerability. It's like, I'm not okay right now. And that's okay, because it doesn't mean your entire world falls apart. It means that for this moment, you're just going to feel what it is to feel scared, to feel that you don't want what is happening to happen, and to go through it. And when you feel those emotions, when you cry those tears, when you rage, when you move your body in a tantrum way, afterwards you've got that space of you've felt it, and now what are you going to put in its place? Okay, it is cuck. It is difficult, but life goes on. And that is what gives you that forward momentum. It's a case of almost ebbing and flowing between feeling your emotions and building something from the journey that you're going through. Because everything that I went through with my mom has given me so much more insight and so much more experience and so much more compassion and so much more awareness, because you expand. And once you expand, you don't contract. So now when I'm holding containers for what it is that I do in my work, I have so much more intuition of what is happening, what to say, what not to say, and also to read between those lines and to offer people that extra little bit of, hey, I see you. When you are ready, if you want to, I'm here. Because it's always about consent. But yeah, you know what? At the end of the day, we're all in this together, walking one another home. No one gets out of here alive. And when we can accept that inevitability of life, it gives us an acceptance of the rite of passage. And to know that it's not easy, but it's going to happen to each and every one of us.
Sure.
And it's not a depressing thought. It's a thought of, okay, well, what do I have that I can still live out in the time that I've got left? And how real can I be about situations that are diabolical?
Yeah.
And make them light-hearted, not making fun or lightness out of something that's serious.
Yeah.
But actually just going, you know what? This is meant to be happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
And finding yourself in those spaces of expansion of your own understanding of life, understanding of death, understanding of losing your parents. Someone that you definitely do not want to be apart from.
No.
But it is, no one doesn't experience that.
Yeah. Karen, thank you so much for coming here today and for spending this time with us and for letting us into the deep spaces of your heart and allowing us to catch a glimpse of your journey and the things that you have walked through and been through, and what a privilege it's been to listen and to hear and to converse with you. I feel deeply privileged to hold space with you. And if any of our listeners out there today are walking this journey, please reach out, let us know. And I encourage you to really listen to this podcast in its fullness, because it will touch parts of you that perhaps have lain dormant and you haven't wanted to access. So thank you again. And I hope that we can have you on again, because I feel like there's so many stories that you have to tell.
Yes. Could write books.
And if you've never been to a secret sunrise, best you get your little butts on over. Because not only is Karen a beautiful soul and powerhouse woman, she is a holder of space. Someone who is wanting to give back as much as she has been given.
Yes.
So thank you for that.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll get to talk together soon.
Yes.
I'll go.
Thank you.